Hey everybody, welcome to our first video about HTML tables. This is an introduction to the topic, first time that we're talking about this at all. And what I have on the screen right here for you is an example of what an HTML table looks like. Tables are used to display an organized data or to display data in an organized fashion. There are many uses for this, and this is one basic one that I grabbed from W3 Schools. So you can see that we're storing people, their names, first name, last name, and their age. So you have a header for the data up at the top, and the header tells you what data you're going to be displaying. And then you have like a name, last name, and then an age. You have the data in each cell below it saying displaying essentially the data that you're collecting. This is similar in concept to a spreadsheet where you display data in cells, and this is the HTML version of how you do that. So first I'm going to give you a reference. On W3 Schools, there's if you go to the Learn HTML portion, the HTML tab, and click on Tables, they have some different examples here of what you can do, as well as some of the basic code. This is always a decent reference if you want to go and you want to learn a little bit more than I am showing you right here about really anything. You can see like all the iframes that we just did. Any element that you want, you can go here and they will have a very extensive description for you. Anyway, let's get started on our code. First off, you're going to take the new skeleton that we have right here, posted in Schoology for you, and you're going to go ahead and put it into that is not our code, you're going to put it into your code, into your notepad. You can see that I have the example code here. I'm just going to get rid of that, and I'm going to show you what I want you to do. You can see that I also have some example CSS. You don't have this in there. This was just for you to see exactly what a table is going to do. As you should change the title and the assignment name, name, date, and hour. Make sure that you put all that stuff on the top of your page. And let's go ahead and let's get started with that. If you haven't done that, please pause the video and do that so we can actually get started. The code that you're going to write is going to go inside of our container. Remember, we put our comment that says most code will go here, so that's where we're going to start writing. I'm going to hit enter a few times so I can work with it a little higher on the page. You don't have to do that. Tables, in a lot of ways, are like lists where they have a container tag to start them off. So the first tag that we type is the table tag. It tells our browser that is going to be processing our data that we are going to make a table, and it should process it accordingly. Inside of our table, data is organized in rows and columns, primarily though with rows. So to start a table, you need this tr tag to start a row inside of your table. And there's a couple of different tags you use in here. I'm going to put a little comment here for you. TH. So our TH here is we're going to use this to add actual cells in. You see that on our page here, if you look on the right side of my display, you'll see that the TR tag didn't do anything. It didn't put any code, didn't put any blocks, it didn't do anything at all to it. So before we can do anything else, we have to first decide what data we're going to be collecting. So we're going to go ahead and collect a couple of bits of information. So first we're going to say student. Whoa, hello, spelling. We're going to collect a student name. We're going to collect their grade. We're going to collect their favorite color. And then we'll do one more for good luck. We will collect their favorite food. So this is the bits of data that we're going to be collecting. You see over here that it still doesn't look very nice, but let's not worry about that. We'll fix that with CSS in a moment. So we're collecting data: student name, grade, favorite color, favorite food. 4 bits of data. You see that we have 4 th tags inside of our tr. This is how we get the cells to look like we want them to do. Tr is a row. Th is the cells within the row. So now for our second row, that one is our header row. That labels our data. So the next one, we're going to put a comment here. And we're going to say this is our first row of data. So inside of this row, we know that there have to be 4 different cells. We're collecting 4 bits. I'm going to do the cheat way. I encourage you to do the same. So notice that it's different. TH, like we put up here in the comment, is only for the first row that labels our data. TD is what we use for a normal cell. So if we start collecting our data in this one, we use TD since it's not the first row. So for this one, we'll say Johnny S. Is in grade 11. Favorite color is red. Favorite food is, of course, tacos. And what you do is you see that underneath of our labels here, you have student name, Johnny S. is our first student, grade 11, red, tacos. All the data is organized in our column like that. So let's go ahead and do a second row of student data. So I'd like to do the comments here just because I think it makes it easier for you to understand what goes where. So for our second row of student data, we start it the same way. So we have TR. And this is a row of student data. So it's not a header row. Therefore, we use TD. And something I encourage also for you to do is that this setup is going to be this is going to be the same setup for each one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the whole setup all the way from the comment, second row of student data down to the closing TR tag. Because instead of typing it exactly the same way each time, let's go ahead and save ourselves some work. So this one right here is going to be the next thing. So we'll say Pam B is going to be in 10th grade. Pam's favorite color here is going to be blue. And then her favorite food is going to be sushi. Sounds like a good choice, huh? So I'm going to paste our next row. So we have the second row. This will be then the third row of student data. And then we can say Aaron A is going to be the next person. Aaron will be in 12th grade. Aaron's favorite color is going to be red, just like Johnny's. And then Aaron's favorite food is going to be, we'll say tacos again. So you see how this works out. We have a label for data then we have the data that we've collected. This is the way that the tags always are going to have to go for tables. It's always the same thing. Now, important things, you see this closing table tag right here I put. This closing, everything that you write has to go before your closing. Remember, this is a container for our table, so all of our data has to go between the container. Our rows are contained within the table tag. So you see we have opening table, we have all the rows and data, then we have the closing. Now we have one more thing that we can do, and that is, I'm going to go back up to the top right under our closing table tag, and we're going to put a caption. Caption is a title for your table. Let's see. We'll just put student data. So you'll see student data comes up on the top of our table. We have our data labels and we have our actual data. This is how tables are going to work out. So that's the HTML portion. As with most things, there's going to be a little bit more CSS involved here. So let's go ahead and go up and do the CSS portion of this. First thing, so we have our table tag that we're going to edit first. We're going to say that first we want our width of our table to be, we'll say 90%. I almost never do 100%, just for the simple reason that it'll touch the edge and I don't like that. And then since we did 90%, we want our margin to be auto, so it is then indeed centered inside of the cell. And you see it did that. It's now centered and it takes up a little bit more space than it did before. Our data is a little bit more spread out. So let's add, I believe we can do this here. If we do a text align of center, we can go ahead, as opposed to writing that for each one of our cells, we can just center it for the entire table there, and to me that looks a little nicer. So one thing you usually see in like spreadsheets and whatnot is that there's usually a border around it. We could do our border in table. Whoops. So remember, border is a shortcut. So there's three things you set in border. You set the solid dotted dashed line, you set the color, and then you set the width. But you see, if we set that just for table, we just get a box around the outside of our table. And that's really not what we're looking for. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to cut that off the page. And we know that we want that to apply to all of our things. So for table row, for table header, TH, and for TD, for all of those things, we want our border to apply to that. So that makes it look a little bit more like we're accustomed to seeing a table, and puts the border around all the different elements. So one of the things that I don't like about this, I like the header row to have a different color for the background. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, for our TH, we're going to take our background color and we're going to do that to, let's scroll for just a second here. Cadet blue sounds like a winner. And then we can just leave the text color black. That looks fine enough. But I would like it to be maybe just a little bit larger. So we'll say that for our font size, we're going to do maybe more like a 20 pixels. Maybe that's a little bit too big, but that should be fine for right now. Additionally, I would like there to be a little extra space around that. So I'm just going to add a little bit of padding so we can spread that out a little bit more. For TD, I'm going to do the same thing, as a matter of fact, or a similar thing. I'm going to add padding of 1 VH. So we can take and we can spread the data out just a little bit more, make it so it's not quite so condensed inside of that particular cell. And I think that's a much nicer look. It spreads it out. You can add a little bit more. So like if, for example, if you have 2, you can see that it's much more spread out. I don't know, I'm pointing at the screen, you can't see my finger, but you can see that it's more spread out. And you can keep it either way you want. We'll just keep it at 2. That seems like a winner for me. And for right now, that's almost it. So the last little bit that I want you to worry about is this header, the student data. That does not look like we need it to look. Whenever you're labeling something as a header, you need to make it look like an actual header. So for caption, first things first is we want the font size. We want that to be much larger. So let's say like 36 pixels. And we're actually getting a lot closer now. That looks a little bit better. But of course, like most things, it's touching the other element. So padding we do to make it spread out a little bit. And 1 VH is probably enough just to get it to be a little bit further away. You could additionally do a background color if you wanted to. Let's see. We can go with crimson. Why not? That looks terrible. But oh well. And then you can additionally change the width. We can make that margin auto so it's centered. We can actually change our margin just a little bit. So if we do like 1 VH auto, notice that now all of a sudden, well, there's this weird thing here, but it doesn't touch the actual top of the table, which again, I don't like it when elements touch other elements. There's that deal. So we can then finally do our border radius, and border radius is a shortcut. So if we do, and you can see in our Dreamweaver here, this is how it works. So the top left is 15. The top right is 15. So you can kind of change it a little. And let's change that to like 35. So you can see how that works out a little more dramatically. And that's just a different way you can play with as opposed to setting it all the same like we did up in the top. You can just kind of round the top bits off, just make it look a little bit different. That is an option that you have. So that's our introduction to tables here. It's a lot of information. Hopefully you've listened through this because this won't make a whole lot of sense if you haven't. Make sure that you save your file. I've saved mine as tables1.html. It's about what you should save yours at. And then we'll continue with more of the table stuff tomorrow and then some practice with it as we go. Good luck. If you have questions, go ahead, please ask.